Music, dance, theater. It's time to take a seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez. Hear from performers, producers, presenters, and creators who enrich our lives in the performing arts. Who's on stage? Here is Tom Alvarez to introduce you.
Hello, and welcome to On the Aisle with me, Tom Alvarez. Today's episode is a two-part show. In the first segment, my guest is Scott Osborne, a sculptor who owns and operates Brown Hound Studio in Carmel. My guest in part two is Michael Quinn, development officer of the Hoosier Art Salon. What both share in common is their love of the visual arts and their ties to theater. Join me now as I go on the aisle in a conversation with Scott. Welcome to my podcast, Scott.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming down from Carmel to be with me today.
Absolutely.
How was your drive?
Oh, honestly, I hit just about every red light down Meridian.
Well, your parents, the Osbornes, Brad and Meg, I've known for a number of years because they have a PR business, and we run in the same circle since I'm a reviewer.
I feel like I've known you for about 3 to 4 at this point now. Yeah.
And so, I first met you, I believe, at an opening for a show, and you had created a marquee. What was the show?
Oh, that would have been for ATI's 4th of July parade.
Okay.
I think. Well, that's what I originally built it for. Oh, you know what?
It's the opening night. I was there, and it was
right.
a party.
So you're talking over at the Turner Building when it was used out front before or after they did a show over at the Studio Theater.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
So I met you there, and we got to talking.
I think I actually met you. I think I have a memory of meeting you downtown a little while before that at a triathlon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, no. You actually saw me on the promenade at White River State Park, and you were working on that race.
Yeah.
And I happened to be there, but I had met you previous to that at the opening of that show.
Must have gotten those. I must have gotten those flipped around.
It's all good. It's all good. But that night, I found out that you were a sculptor, and that I have a great interest in the visual arts, certainly, even though the show covers the performing arts. I said in my intro that, you are a visual artist, you're a sculptor. Do you also paint?
I do.
I thought so, yeah. So I should have put that in there, too. But so
right.
now we can tell people that you do both of those things.
I'm a potter and a producer and a host.
I wish my audience could see this beautiful, beautiful cup that you brought me. It's really,
thank you.
What's the color?
Well, it's kind of a turquoise and a midnight blue kind of mix in the inside, all turquoise on the outside. Actually, it's a sky blue on the outside, turquoise and midnight on the inside.
Well, it's absolutely beautiful, and I really appreciate having it for my mug collection or my, I told you I have a pottery collection. So, okay, so let's get to it. Okay, so you have a studio.
I do.
And tell me again what the name of it is.
It's called Brown Hound Studios.
Yes, and it's named after you.
My dog,
and
Millie.
I've met Millie because I've visited you at that studio.
Yep, she's a sweetie.
Yeah. And so give our listeners sort of a brief sketch about your work.
My work. So I do a lot of kinetic work. Right now I'm working on something called a kinetic painting, where I am taking a drum and lining the inside of it with canvas. And then I have made this funnel-like drill bit. It's a tube that rotates with a spout at the end. And it's connected to a pulley system that runs, not a pulley system, a gear system that transfers from a drill, and centrifugal force throws this paint inside and lines the walls of the drum. So it's It's a really interesting
Wow.
So I'm spinning it up and down. I'm adding more color as it's rotating. I've got a funnel up at the top, and it's making some really unique stuff. It's the colors are blending as they're dripping down the sides, and playing with drying and consistency, and letting it fully dry, then adding another layer, and what consistency the paint is. It's been a lot of fun. And that's kind of been the last 2 weeks of getting that tool right.
Where did this idea? Where did it come from?
I don't know. It's really unique though. I wanted to do something. I was inspired actually by a video I saw that was a bucket gravity-fed paint project, and they had a bucket on a string hanging from the ceiling. It went viral, and they released the base of this bucket, and it spins all this color, and it mixes in the air and creates a really unique pattern.
Okay.
It's unable to be repeated. It's unique every single time, and it was that was cool. And I wanted to do something along that idea of gravity-fed paint mixing in the air, mixing on the canvas. And also adding the element of it being, gravity affecting the paint as it's being applied.
That's very unique. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how many pieces will you create?
Well, with this right now, I've already done 3. And it's about a 4-hour process to do it start to finish, but it's a lot of fun. I'm excited to start showing them.
Well, that's exciting.
That's ongoing, and then I'm also doing a pottery project for the olive mill in Carmel, and making 150 bowls for them.
What olive mill?
It is a olive oil basically dispensary, and they have 47 different types, and they also have art that they sell on the walls and various it's kind of like a little gallery built into it. But these are also functional pieces for them, because out of these kind of taps that they have of olive oil, they have drip cups under them. So these are these probably 4-ounce little containers that are for either dipping or catching the olive oil. They're all for sale, and matching their colors.
So you are Carmel-based. Your
I am.
studio is just a hop, skip, and a jump from the Palladium.
It is.
As I said, I've been there, and I was fascinated by the work that I saw there, and it was clear to me that you're constantly growing in your subject matter, and
I like to experiment.
You're constantly redefining your work. Would you say that's correct?
Absolutely. I rarely do the same thing twice, unless you're talking pottery. But I like to try, take on a new project. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, for example. I never made a car, but
I want to get to that because but let's. I'd like to go back and have you briefly describe your background and your training. Okay.
Well, I started off. I'll mention I didn't take an art class until I was a sophomore in high school, and then I had a teacher really kind of push me to pursue it. To get through all the classes so I could take AP my senior year. So set an early goal with a very short time frame to take, all of the classes Heritage had to offer to require.
You went to Heritage Christian
Heritage
High?
Christian, yep. And Mrs. Cooper, thank you for that, pushed me to take all those, and came into Heron as an illustration major, and really liked what I was doing, but ironically failed 3D art as a freshman. And, I overslept the final. It was an 8:30 class, and I was up all night working on the final, and, one of those, and I appreciate him being strict on me, because we had a great relationship too, but he was strict and didn't let me turn it in late, and that made me take a summer ceramics class 2 years later, which opened the door for me to becoming a sculptor. I had never even seen the building on Heron's campus. And
prior to that, though, your discovery of sculpture, what were you aiming for when you went to Heron?
Well, I liked the element of telling stories through images as an illustration major. I did a lot of portrait. That had an element of photography as well. I was starting out taking a bunch of photos of someone and, then editing and deciding which angle and breaking that down before I would then go into colored pencil and draw that portrait at a large scale. Chuck Close was a big inspiration in high school at that time. But moving on past that, I didn't, I wanted to work somewhere that initially going into college, I wanted to get hired by someone to illustrate, whether it would be comics or I didn't know what that was going to, and that was kind of part of it.
So you were a freehand artist?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I came in as. And I ended in integrated studio practices, which is kind of an open door major that any credit from a 400 level class qualified for your 400 level requirements. And I had 3 at the time, 400 level classes, which was sculpture, ceramics, and illustration. So, and luckily, I don't know if they made it for me, but it came out, the major came out my senior year. So, which it felt like it at the time. So it let me combine all 4 of those 400 levels.
What's the art school experience like?
Oh, it was a blast. I mean, it was late nights, early mornings, little sleep, a lot of caffeine.
What's the whole experience of being around other artists like?
The best. That's something I miss more than anything.
Why?
Because you really pull so much from each other. You learn from the conversation you have outside, and like that. You're smoking a cigarette as a group. Luckily, I've quit since then. But you're all. And you're debating. You're communicating.
Is everyone supportive?
Yes. No. Yes. Like good hard criticism is required. It's positive criticism. We're not really. It happens though, where some people are just trying to tear you down. But it's not. It's not typical.
There are good egos and bad egos. You got to have an ego when you're an artist.
Right.
There can be that other thing, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those critiques are what you paid for to go to school.
That's the whole thing about you got to be careful about who you take criticism with. Do they have an agenda?
Oh, absolutely. Right. And they do. I mean, like, unless, especially when it comes from those negative, hostile critiques, instead of it being a constructive negative critique, you can say, like, you need to work on this, but versus this is bad and I'm going to judge you for it, like.
I find a lot of that attitude comes from people who lack talent sometimes.
Right. Need to bring someone else down.
That's subjective, is it not? I mean, talent,
Well, yeah. There's people who are talented that are like that, and there are people who are not talented that are like that. And
you had fabulous faculty there.
Oh, yes. Yeah, very, very grateful for my faculty. They all, now the dean, Greg Hall, is a great influence, and Eric Nordgren, those guys really steered me in the right direction on it helped me figure out what I want to do.
Yeah, well, you're living the life of a lot of sculptors who dream of having their own studio, and you got one. How did that happen?
I've had a lot of great support, and being in the Carmel area was important to my early development. They gave me a lot of early opportunities, and very grateful for it.
As long as they have those roundabouts, you're going to have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, lots of roundabouts to fill.
How many sculptures are those that you created in the roundabouts?
None in the roundabouts right now.
Oh, okay. I thought there was one.
No, but I do have a few on the Monon right now.
Okay, on the Monon. Okay,
yeah, and some tables from 3 Up and a few other.
What would people recognize, or what should they look for when they're on the Monon?
Right now, the Monarch Butterfly.
There you go.
Life Cycle of a Monarch Butterfly is the title, and it's right next to the Carmel Historical Society. Oh, cool. They commissioned it. It was originally debuted in 2020 on the other side of the building. Then they had construction, and we had to store it for a year and a half, change, and then reinstall it on the other side, which, funny note, is the order looks like it's going backwards now because I had to.
Yeah.
I couldn't recreate the structure that held them all. So when it flipped on the building, it now goes butterfly to egg.
Wow.
See it, but.
So you have developed quite a fan base up in Carmel, correct?
I am very lucky to have some following in Carmel area. Yeah, thank you guys.
And so one of the one of the attractions of talking to you was again that you have these ties to the theater. So let's talk about that car. And I saw the I came to the studio or
the cat.
To the cat. I came to the cat. And I did a story on you for my website column.
Right.
So a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was, unfortunately, I actually missed the performance, but I did have
great
a chance to see the car that you built from scratch. So talk about it. I mean, it was remarkable.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing was keeping it light, but, keeping a family on it. Most of it was kind of found object, if you'd call it. In the art world, you'd call it found object. But things you'd get from Menards and, ultimately, the car had to weigh less than 1,100 pounds with all the passengers and a steel frame and a platform. And the thing that made it motorized was a wheelchair down at the bottom.
Right.
And, and then pressure was put on caster wheels on 6 different locations.
Do you have an engineering background?
No, but I do like it.
Ask you that. Okay. So
I like kinetic, and
so the wheelchair helped you to get the thing. Remind me, where was it stored? When it wasn't in the store?
Oh, the cat owns it now.
Yeah, where during the show did they pull?
Oh, so there's a platform on wheels that is basically like a little parking spot, and it was the exact same height as the stage, so it would kind of drive off level, and then they'd pull the platform away.
What are those called in theater when things are on platforms and they pull
caster carts? Yeah.
Okay, they roll them off into the wings typically, but the cat doesn't really have wings per se. They have a backstage area. It's really deep, right?
Yeah, and they have an immediate access to like an outdoor spot that leads to a garage door.
What are some other theater pieces that you've been involved in?
I've done an angel for. I'm blanking on the name of the theater group, but
what was the name of the production? Was that Angels in America?
In America, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did the big...
I did the gray angel in that.
That's fabulous.
The piece that was represented in the park, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, the New York, the famous New York, I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, I've been
I made that
a number of times, yeah.
That's cool you've seen that.
Did you ever go there to see it?
I didn't, unfortunately, but I was part of the installation.
That'll be a treat for you when you finally make it to New York and see that. I mean, it's insane.
Well, I have actually seen it, but it was, senior year of high school that we spent the day in in Central Park. But
no, I'm blanking on the name of it, but it's very famous, and it's and Angels in America. I saw both parts of it, and it's been done around here. So you did that, and what else did you do in the theater?
Well, I've done some stuff for Actors Theater of Indiana, including their parade float every year for the 4th of July. Yeah.
And so are you a theater fan?
Oh, I love the theater. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I grew up actually doing shows with Richard Merriman, and that was... did that until I was maybe 10. These are just little youth theater program kind of things.
Acting or scene design?
Happened at acting. Yeah, being on stage.
Okay.
Make your own costumes. Very minimal budget.
So you
happened in
have
churches
theater.
most of the time. We did like Gilligan's Island. I played Gilligan in that. That was a big deal back then. But.
And of course, your parents' firm, they represent Actors Theater and a lot of artists organizations, correct?
Yep,
so
performing
you have
arts.
all of that background.
I do, and I get to work closely with a lot of those, especially my lunch break with ATI. I get to meet a lot of people with that, and then we have the No Title Needed
let's
show.
talk about your broadcasting work. Well, podcasting is broadcasting in my mind, and you're a colleague. You have you work on 2 podcasts, so let's talk about the ATI.
Lunch break with ATI. Yes, yeah.
You all had me on recently. We'll get to that. But
Yeah.
Tell me about the one with ATI.
So lunch break with ATI was started about 3.5 years ago. I remember it was right after COVID. It was still right at the end of that era. But we were all. I remember the meeting. We were all in this big room, sitting far apart, like wall to wall, back to wall seating, and we Philip Paluzzo, Cindy, Don, the whole gang. We were all sitting there, and it was we need a helping hand.
For those who don't know those people, Cindy Collins, Don Farrow, and Judy Fitzgerald, the 3 co-founders of Actors Theater of Indiana. Cindy's been on the show, Judy's been on the show, and then you mentioned Philip. Remind me of Philip's last name.
Paluzzo.
And he is a photographer, editor, and very, very, very talented.
Very good.
Yeah, so that's
very close friend too.
What a team. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing that show?
3.5 years now. And the first 2, it was alternating hosting between the trio, as we refer to Cindy, Dawn, and Judy as. But then Cindy took over full time, and Philip walked away around the same time to take on another show that we started doing over at, this was before our No Title Needed. And
which is your current podcast.
That is my current show that I am hosting and executive producer of.
And it's recorded at Feinstein's at Hotel Carmel.
It is, and it's lovely.
And I was a guest a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed myself. You guys have great chemistry. And
it's a lot of fun. I really love doing it.
I was especially impressed with having come out of television. As you know, I was really impressed with Philip and his work, the edited version.
He's a professional. I mean, he's been doing it.
3 cameras.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a pro, that's for sure.
Yep, and he got me involved in all of this. Like I said, 3.5 years ago at the start of, and now I run one show myself and host another.
When I said broadcaster, you're actually. For all intents and purposes, you're also in production. You're a colleague. You're an editor, right?
So it's a live edit. Yeah, I do a live broadcast, and I'm switching 3 cameras with a 2 second delay.
You're a multidisciplinary artist.
I feel that they all apply. After
you're a filmmaker because have you created any films?
Well, if you not full-length films of any sort.
Or documentaries or like anything like that?
No,
you
nothing
probably
like that.
Could.
Started with YouTube videos when I was 12 of lip sync and stuff like that, editing that.
Do you think that sculptors and visual artists are also storytellers in my mind?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
And,
there are good storytellers and there are bad storytellers, and not saying that they're bad storytellers, but not every element of art is a story to tell. But some artists choose that as their route.
So, what is the life of a sculptor? I have several friends who went through Heron, and one in particular. I'm blanking on his name, Casey. In fact, he's got a torso, it's a piece that's right in front of the entrance. You probably have seen it 100 times.
I know. I know that guy.
His name is Casey.
I know that one. Yeah.
Anyway, Casey does.
I don't know the artist himself,
Casey
though.
does these huge bronze things. I mean, pieces, and he gets commissioned for them, but they don't come often. I mean, but when he gets some, they're big.
Yeah.
Like there's one at the Performing Arts Center in Nashville. I can't remember the name of that place. But anyway, I only say that because I have a sense of what it takes to be a sculptor and to work large, as you have.
Right.
Those commissions, they don't come every day.
No, they
so
do not.
You have to make a living, so you do other things.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I've found some really good outlets to put my talents to use and my training to use.
You have a manager, correct?
I do, yes.
And she tries to find work for you, basically, right?
Yeah, Jessica Meyer, she's wonderful.
How did you meet Jessica?
I've known Jessica since I was running around the pool deck as a kid. But
so she obviously believes in you and your work, and she goes out and sells for you, right?
Yes. She does all my marketing and most of my communications. And
it seems to me Carmel is a great place to be because all the building that's going on and all the deep
there's a lot of
all the deep pockets.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
is there.
but
Yeah.
for an artist and to have your contacts and all, that's fertile ground.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm very, very thankful and grateful for the position.
Do you
I'm
have
in
any
that
irons
regard.
in the fire for any big pieces that we talked about the roundabouts. I mean,
Well, I've got some really great concepts. Waiting to hear back on a few things.
By the way,
maybe
I love
looking to send a few of those ideas to elsewhere.
The other night, as I was driving home from the Palladium, I just really enjoy those sculptures. There's one that when you're heading, you know the piece as you were heading. I was heading to my home. I live southwest, but I was heading south. There's a sculpture in a roundabout that lights up, and it's like a bush. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like the big flower?
Yeah, the flower.
Yes,
yeah.
the rose looking,
wow.
maybe. Yeah.
It just really warmed my heart to see that as I was driving in the dark.
It's very nice. It's very pretty.
Yeah. So tell me, what's your future look like? What are your priorities as a sculptor?
Currently, I'm actually in motion to open a secondary ceramics studio, but that fell in my lap in a way that it was not my intention. Someone actually knocked on Brown Hound Studio's door, said, I have a painting studio 2 blocks down the road, and I am looking to offer ceramics, and I have half of my space and much larger than the ceramic studio I'm working out of now in my own space. And is basically offering if I would like to use it to teach a class. So like a full class, a class of, 16 potentially, which still
Sure.
a lot of working things out in that. But this is like 3 weeks ago, and it's almost in motion. I've got 2 other guys that are Carmel High School's retired ceramics teacher for 30 years. He actually was part of starting the program. Is on board. I met him through the Carmel International Arts Festival a couple months ago, and we've been, getting ready to do some of this stuff, and it's
That's great.
Yeah, but when that just kind of happened, it wasn't really. But I'm excited about it. I'm very.
Well, that's
so
gratuitous, right?
Yeah.
So like this beautiful cup that you brought me, mug. Are those available for retail?
Yeah.
Where can
Yeah, of
people buy
course.
them?
Well, you can have anything custom made if you want to talk to me, or they're
How
on.
do people find you?
Well, you can contact me through Brown Hound Studios. You can get on my email at scottyazzy@gmail.com. You can go through Instagram. You can check my website, brownhoundstudios.com. Instagram
Well, it's
is
no
at
wonder-
Ozzy's Art. I will always be able to check that. I would give on a personal basis, I'd say my phone number, but I don't really think I should be throwing that out right now. But
yeah, well, you know what? I would really be surprised, if you didn't know how to market, because your parents, that's what they do for a living. That's their company.
Yeah,
so you never have to worry about getting free advice.
It's very true, and I do a lot of work with them too as well.
Sure.
So
no, it's obvious. I always like to ask my guests, who are your influence, and I just presume your parents. Have taught you a lot of great lessons.
Oh, they sure have. I've been fortunate to have a lot of.
I've had great teachers.
Throughout my life.
We're going to wrap this up, but I want to ask you about what can you say to young artists out there who are thinking about going to school to get training and who are especially interested in sculpture in particular? What are the pitfalls and what are the rewards?
Keep an open mind on, your expectations in the sense of, you know, you might have this goal of becoming an illustrator, and don't be afraid to pivot and change when the next opportunity comes around. New experiences are going to be, take that weird class. If you're going into school knowing you want to be an artist, go ahead and take the ceramics class, take the painting class, even whatever the other odd interest is. You might find you love it, and either way, it applies. Like I mentioned earlier, all of these lessons in this specific category come together and apply, and that's what makes it well-rounded artist.
Well, listen, it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Pleasure has been mine.
I'm
Thanks.
getting to know you, and each time we have a conversation, I really feel you have a great future ahead of you. And
I appreciate that.
yeah,
Thanks.
and I look forward to seeing more of your work over time. So
I
thanks.
look forward to showing it to you.
Thanks for joining me.
Absolutely.
And I'll see you on the aisle somewhere, because I usually do.
I'm sure we will cross paths soon.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Tom.
Join me now for the second half of the show for my conversation with Michael. Hello, Mike. Michael.
Hello.
Welcome to my podcast.
Well, thank you for having
We were
me.
talking before we went on that you wanted to know if you needed to prepare anything. I said, oh, no. I said, no, just come on in and we're just going to have a nice little chat. I wish
Yeah.
I could offer you some tea or something.
Oh, no, I
Actually,
don't
I'll-
need a thing. Just had lunch.
Okay, so you have had a very career. When I met you, you were in banking.
Yes.
And you were in banking for a while.
Yeah.
So, and then from there, you left the banking business and you became a general contractor.
Right.
And then I ran into you recently, and you said, "Hey, guess what? I am now the chief development officer for the Hoosier Salon."
That's
So,
right.
and I was not surprised because you have a home filled with beautiful art, and I know that you're an art collector and a fan. So,
Yes.
what a natural progression.
Yeah.
Are you liking the job?
Yeah. It's a position that it grows every week.
Yeah. In what way?
New opportunities present themselves. I was charged with this role in expanding the Hoosier Salon, expanding exposure, adding events, creating more opportunities for our artists, and a lot of that's coming together pretty quickly, which has been really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
We've just worked out an agreement with the Phoenix Theater. We're going to take over their art gallery space
Really?
there.
That's
and,
news.
And we're going to curate the art shows for that space.
Well, that's excellent.
There's still a few scheduled exhibits that they'll have throughout the year, but we're going to take over and probably have about 9 different exhibitions throughout the year. So it adds gallery space, which we have not had for quite some time. And that was one of the major goals of taking over this role, is to get gallery space for our artists. Exposure.
Remind me, what were some of the previous venues?
Well, we had a gallery in Carmel years ago. We had a gallery in Broad Ripple years ago, but maintaining and making sure that a gallery like that does well is a challenge.
Oh, I
It's
bet.
a large percentage of art galleries that open don't make it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a very tough business to be in. But in this situation, we aren't going to have the complication of a difficult landlord and a high rent. We're gonna it's going to be a win-win for both the Phoenix Theater and for the Hoosier Art Salon. I also serve on the board of the Phoenix Theater.
Well, that's one of the reasons I had you on. Since I host and produce the show, I can have on anyone I want.
Sure.
But I try to keep my mission narrow, which is the performing arts. But in
Sure.
this case, and I've written about the visual arts. I miss it, frankly.
Yeah.
For Arts Indiana, do you remember Arts
Oh,
Indiana?
yes.
That's where I
Very well.
started
Sure.
freelance writing. But Nouveau, I did some work.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, I have a passion for visual arts and the visual arts, and so when I thought about folks that I knew around town who were in visual arts and had a theater sort of connection, I thought of you, as I did with
Yeah.
Scott, who was on just before you, the sculptor. We talked a bit.
I look forward to looking up his work.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's got a lot of artistry, of the wonderful studio, and yeah, he's supported by the people who live in that Carmel area.
Yeah.
He's a native son, if you will. But back to you.
Yeah.
So we go back, and I don't remember how we connected.
Lockerbie days.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Lockerbie. We
Back
were
in the
neighbors.
in the early '90s.
But also, you were associated with the Phoenix Theater on the board. I was a
Right.
founding member, so we have that
Yeah.
in connection.
Yeah, when I
too.
started on the board of the Phoenix, it had been around about 15 years.
Yeah.
I was on for 24, and then I rolled off for a while and came back on a couple of years ago. But when I started on the board there, it was, there were meetings where we would pass the hat basically to pay the
Well,
electric bill. So things have changed.
Tell me, were you there when they were in the building near the library? I'm blanking. The ambassador.
That was before my time.
Okay. Yeah, that's
I heard
when
all about it.
That's
but
when
that was
I
before
came
my
on,
time.
and I helped. I went in there one Sunday. It was like 90 degrees. None of the volunteers showed up, and there I was with a sledgehammer knocking down.
That's right.
drywall.
I heard all the stories. They're always interesting.
And so for me, and you can relate, for me to then walk into this multi-million-dollar building knowing that I was there when Brian Fonseca pitched the mission to about 10 of us in someone's home, living room. It just, it just reminds me that, Indianapolis is a great startup place, right?
It is.
And
it is.
Anything's possible, and there's a good example. And I'm sure you were there when the decision was made to move from the church.
Yeah, it was a
right?
tough decision. It was a
Yeah.
very tough decision, a very expensive decision.
Yeah.
But it's had its ups and downs. But I think things are moving at a nice pace, and things are developing. And
And isn't that the vision? The vision of when you built that place was that it would be a community center for the arts.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
it would involve visual arts,
Yeah.
and it would be used for all kinds of stuff.
Well, the idea of an art collective, I think, had been mentioned early on, but it really developed into that. And collaborating with different arts groups is one of the missions of the Hoosier Salon as well. We started an event about 4 years ago now called the Allen Whitehill Clues Collaborative, and we held the event at the Symphony Orchestra in conjunction with the Symphony, and the Clues Foundation funded it. And unfortunately, we've outgrown the space, and so this year we're moving the event. It'll be held on March 7th, 2026 at Heron School of Art.
Okay.
The collaborative will be expanded this year. We had 18 artists at the Symphony, and we're bumping it up to 26. So it'll be 26 artists in 2026. Each of the artists will be able to submit 2 pieces to the exhibition. There's a nice purse that comes with the exhibition. There will be student art, student music. But it'll be a wonderful evening. But this is our 4th year for the collaborative, and it started with an idea that the Hoosier Salon wanted to expand, add another event, and Suzanne McAllister and I, who's quite prominent
Suzanne.
in the arts and media in this town, she and
Channel 4, I was one of her producers back in the day.
Yeah, she's very
I haven't
active on the
seen her
salon board.
recently.
She's wonderful.
Would you give her my best?
I will. I'm sure she'll be listening to it. Hi, Suzanne. She is a powerhouse when it comes to putting these type of events
Well,
together.
I bet.
She just did an amazing job. But she tasked me with taking over it in 26.
That's wonderful.
So she's working closely with me to make sure I do it right.
Well,
Yeah.
she produced her show. She was executive producer for her
Yeah.
own show on Channel 4 for
Yeah.
a while. And then I think she did some other broadcasting for another station. I can't remember, but I haven't seen her for a while.
Oh,
That's
she's great.
Wonderful
She's
news.
doing really good.
Okay.
She's doing great.
So tell me about your passion for art. When did it begin?
Well, it
and
began.
again, folks, you should see his collection. It's like just
Yeah.
oh,
It's
to be
some call it
surrounded
hoarding.
to be
but-
surrounded by all. You can never have too much art. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we haven't started to bolt them on the ceilings yet, but we've threatened. But no, my passion for the arts really started with a filler class in college. It was an art appreciation class.
Where was college?
This was at Vincennes University, where I got my associate's degree. And I finished up at IU. But I opened this book, which I kept. I still have it. And it was just some of the most beautiful pages in print I'd ever seen, with the most beautiful works of art. And from that point forward, I was just kind of hooked. And I didn't grow up in a family that had fine art on the walls and or much of any art at all.
Yeah.
And
The Quinn family, big family.
well,
big
we're not huge, big Catholic family, but there are several branches of the Quinn family. But I'm sure we're related somewhere. But so that was where it started, and I started collecting back in the '90s, and I probably need to get in a couple of 12-step programs. That's what my mother would say.
You're powerless. And, so how did that carry over into Hoosier? How did you find the
well, I've
Hoosier Art Salon?
attended the art salon, Hoosier Art Salon, for many years, and never dreamed that I would be able to be involved, let alone lead it. But I was a private banker with Star Bank, which was my last stint in the banking world. And a couple of my clients, Melanie and Bill Whistle, we met at a Starbucks to close a loan. And we got to talking, and art came up, and they mentioned the Hoosier Art Salon. Well, my ears perked up like a dog with a treat on its way. And Melanie said, well, why don't you volunteer to work on our annual exhibition? This was probably in, 18 or 19. And I said, well, I'd love to. And volunteered for that committee and got very involved. And after the event, they asked me to join the board. And a year later, they asked me to be president of the organization, which I was for 3 years, rolled off in January. And that's how I got involved. I have an absolutely amazing board of directors with the salon. It's an eclectic mix of old and young, black and white, gay, straight. I mean, it's all sects of the community.
How many on the board?
There's 29 on our board. We have a very, very involved board, and you go to meetings and you kind of have to kick people out at the end because everybody wants to hang out and have more cocktails and have fun. And I think that's what keeps people on a board, is that social connection. In addition to the subject matter, which is the Hoosier Art Salon, but a lot of friendships have developed, and those friendships are what keep people involved and passionate about the mission.
In terms of board development, how would you describe your mix? The most successful boards that are carefully, quote, developed. You choose people who come from different, different business experiences.
Yes.
You need the so-called old money, you need the new money, you need business people, lawyers, accountants. Do you have a good mix?
We have an incredible mix. We, unfortunately, over the past couple of years, have suffered several great losses. Jim Morris was on our board. Jerry Semler was on our board, and George Rapp, Dr. Rapp. And we lost all three of them within about 18 months. Wow. So that was a huge loss for us.
But you're creating new leaders, I bet.
We are.
Yeah,
we are.
Grooming.
We brought in new people, and
do you play a role in that, or do you?
Well, Dan Yates is our governance chair.
Yeah.
And he's the one who kind of spearheads bringing in new people.
Okay, so who's the CEO? You're the development. Are you?
Well, Rebecca Kubacki is our president.
Okay, president.
And I'm the development director.
Gotcha.
And Bill Whistle on our board handles the finance piece.
So you're the fundraiser.
Fundraiser, development director, you name it.
Yeah.
I work on the grants a little bit. I do a little bit of everything.
What are your needs?
Well,
to support the organization.
Well, obviously, financial donations are wonderful. We have the George and Peggy Rapp Endowment, which you can find through our website at HoosierArtSalon.org. But
you can't touch that.
No, but
you don't want to.
The proceeds will be funding some of the programming that we have coming up. Some of the things that are on the horizon. We talked about the deal with the Phoenix Theater. We're developing a program to be launched in high schools and colleges to tap into the young artists and bring them into the fold early. make them aware of what the salon is and how we're diversifying. For many years, the salon was looked at as, landscapes and portraits. And we still have a lot of those amazing artists, and we love them. But we've also diversified. We have modern art. We have quite diverse.
Contemporary
Quite
as
contemporary. Well. Yeah, we have a lot of those artists that
So Scott, who
contribute to
does
the mix.
contemporary painting now, he could...
Oh, yes. Yes.
He could look to you all
He could.
for an audience.
Well, and one of the big missions that they've charged me with is making sure people know who we are. Everybody knows, this is a bit of a twist, but everybody knows what Zubilation is.
Sure.
Everybody knows what Zubu is. Everybody knows what Talbot Street Art Fair is. We wanted to get to the point where if you mention the Hoosier Art Salon, someone doesn't say, where is that? Do they do men's or women's cuts?
Sure.
We are an arts organization that promotes Indiana artists in a multifaceted way.
How old is the organization?
101 years.
Wow, talk about
the
challenge of educating people about your brand.
Right.
Right. But you're constantly reinventing that.
Well,
brand.
and I think it's important to know that our organization was put together by a bunch of Hoosier ladies who felt that artists in Indiana in, what was it, 2024 didn't think they were getting the attention they deserved. Yeah. So they put together the salon and held it in Chicago at Marshall Fields.
Even that word salon gives you a hint of where when it started. That's sort of an old-fashioned word to describe.
It is. It is.
Gatherings with intellectuals, the expatriates in Paris and so on and so forth. Creative people sitting around sharing ideas. But this is art.
Yeah. So they held it in Chicago for, I don't know, 25 or 30 years, and then they ended up bringing it back to Indianapolis, and it was held at Ayers Department Store. That's where the exhibition was held for many, many years. And we've been at the Indiana State Museum for many years, and we hope to be there for quite some time.
So what drives you to be a collector? What is it about collecting art? Is it just, I mean, for me, and I don't have as much as you have, but it really gives me a sense of contentment because I know the artists and I know their stories and all of that. It's a bunch of stuff, isn't it?
I probably have about a 60-40 mix of living artists to deceased artists. With the living artists, I love to be able to talk to the artist and find out, why did you paint that?
Yes.
Cindy Crowfoot is one of our artists, and I bought a painting of hers a couple of years ago, and there's it's an old juke joint. I think it's like in Alabama. It's a nocturnal piece, which means it's painted, with an evening look, with a dusk, and there's a Cadillac in this piece. And to be able to talk to her, and she told me about what was inside that building, and that it was a juke joint. It was kind of an illegal place that served liquor. Those kind of stories are what make the art so fascinating.
Sure.
I bought a painting in an auction in Cincinnati many years ago. It was a huge piece, and I bought it because it looked like a Victorian living room, very detailed. But I bought it because there's a Christmas tree in it, because we're kind of Christmas tree nuts. And got it home and got it in a beautiful frame. And I have an art appraiser that comes by periodically and reassesses things for insurance. And I said, you don't need to assess that piece because I think it's just a decorator painting. And he got to looking at it, and he said, no, this isn't a decorator piece. It ended up being an artist from Peru, and the piece appraised, I'll just say, quite higher than what I paid for it, the $100 that I paid for it.
That's great.
So, there is the monetary piece, but for me, it's more the passion. To be able to come home at night and grab a glass of wine and walk around your own house, and you see something different every time you look at these pieces. It's fun. And when someone walks into your home and shows a true interest in your collection, that's really exciting because you can share the stories.
I've been on your tours.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
So, but you've gotten to know a lot of artists in your day.
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
A lot of friendships.
A lot of friendships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of them are in my phone on speed dial.
And you put your money where your mouth is. You've actually helped them make a living.
That's our goal.
That's a great
That's our goal.
Satisfaction, isn't it?
Yeah. And one of the other things that we're doing, and we're hoping to launch it in first or second quarter of next year, is we're going to have an online art gallery for our artists. So depending on what your membership level is, you can have between 2 and 3 paintings at any given time on our website
That's
for
wonderful.
sale, which is an incentive for folks to sign up for membership. Because a lot of times we get members that just sign up before our annual exhibit in August, which is our biggest event, because they have to be a member to submit a painting to be juried. But we're trying to make it more advantageous for people to become members with other benefits as aside from just being in the annual exhibit.
And do you find that people who support you have found what you've discovered, getting to know these artists and getting to know about what goes into their work and educating them about the fact that this is work? It's not just a hobby or a pastime.
Right. We have great respect for all of our artists, and I guess what's kind of amazing to me is that so many of them are so humble, and so many of them that I talk to, especially artists that are just getting started, and we have a lot of artists that don't start painting until they retire, and they become absolutely incredible painters. And that's what's so great. Marianne Glick is one of our Hoosier Salon artists. And she didn't start painting until she was in her 50s.
I did not know
Yeah.
that.
I have one of her paintings.
I was just at her recent show at JCC.
Yeah.
Faces, was it called?
Yes. Yeah, I wasn't able to attend.
You know, she's always changing up.
Yep.
Switching up.
Yeah.
Like all great artists, she's always growing. Continues to grow.
And I think what's so important about exposing people to art and to the salon is you never know when you have someone who steps into one of your exhibits or one of your galleries and their eyes just light up and you can tell they've got goosebumps because they see something they've never seen before and it touches them in a way that changes them.
Sure.
A lot of people don't realize there's so much more to gain from appreciating this type of art or any type of art than it just hanging on a wall. It means so much more.
And conversely, as you've discovered with visual artists, that the fact that the criticism that art is a luxury and so on and so forth, and yet you also know from your experience working in the theater, working with artists, designers, actors, directors, that that's how they make their living.
That's right.
And many of them have to take on, part-time jobs, and a lot of artists have to do that too, day jobs. So,
sure they do. They do.
So it's definitely not a luxury. It's something that they work very hard at.
I have a neighbor, his name's Kevin. I won't say his last name, but he produces some of the most amazing art, but he doesn't think he's an artist. His basement's full of all these amazing pieces, and he doesn't think he's an artist.
Yeah.
We have a gal on our board who is an artist, and we had an exhibition.
What do you think it's... Well, you use the word humility, but what do you think goes deeper with that, those artists who don't...
I think it's so personal for them. I think that they're putting their heart on a piece of canvas or in a sculpture, because we have all forms of art with the salon. We're not just portraits and landscapes and wall art. We have ceramics, wood, fabric
found
artists.
art stuff? Yeah.
Yes. But they're putting their heart out on these pieces. They're laying it out, and it's very personal for them.
Sure.
And to have someone come into a gallery and stand there and comment on something that is so personal and so embedded in your being, to hang on that wall, it's a big deal.
It's intimidating.
It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
It is.
I find artists, of course, are very sensitive.
They can be.
I mean, in my own work as a theater artist, when you put your stuff out there, it's harrowing because anybody can judge it, and whatever, and to develop a thick skin is very difficult.
Well, and the thing is you'll get people that say things like, I don't like that style of art or that style. You don't have to like it all.
Yeah.
There's some styles of art that I'm not going to hang on my wall, but I appreciate it.
Conversely, you'll agree with the same thing with theater. Well, I don't like that. Well, you just write off the whole thing. There's nothing.
Yeah, there was
in
nothing.
the performance that you like.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like
Yes.
it's so arrogant. I find
Yeah.
it. It's
Well,
so arrogant.
I don't know. I think sometimes people just like to complain.
Yeah, I believe that. I
and-
believe that.
Yeah.
So, what are your long-term goals in terms of finding resources for
Well,
your art salon?
One of the other things that we have that we didn't discuss is that we have a gallery down in New Harmony, Indiana. It was George Rapp's baby,
Okay.
Dr. George Rapp, who was one of our lead supporters and board members who passed away recently. But we have a gallery down there that's very, very active. They do a lot of exhibitions, a lot of shows. We have an event called the First Brush of Spring in April every year that if you've not been to New Harmony, Indiana, you gotta go. It is a peaceful utopia place that started as a somewhat of a commune back in the 1800s, and
I
it's
know all about it.
amazing
and I'm going
place.
to tell you my secret. I've never been there.
It's
and
amazing.
I can't believe
It's
have
amazing.
not.
There's a wonderful little hotel
That
there. and-
maze is down there still.
Who?
There's a maze.
well, they call it the Labyrinth.
yeah, the labyrinth.
Yeah, and yes, it's still there. It's still maintained. It's still
And
maintained.
There's a theater or New Harmony. New Harmony Project.
Yes,
They're
yes.
alive and well.
Yes,
There as
yes,
well, where they
yes.
develop new plays.
Yeah.
And they've had ties with the Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So that gallery's thriving down there, and I work very closely with Sarah Kamen, who runs that gallery.
Wow.
She's kind of my left and my right hand lady.
How far away is that?
It's about 2 hours,
Okay,
maybe
all
2
right.
hours and 20 minutes. It's
Okay.
a short drive, but
Okay.
if you're looking for a peaceful place to just spend a weekend, it's a wonderful place.
Well,
Great little
the-
shops,
the-
great
the-
restaurants.
The history is very
Oh
unique,
yeah,
too.
amazing. It's
Yeah, yeah.
amazing history.
So what do you think about the growth of the Phoenix right now? Is it, let's talk about our mutual friend Brian Fonseca.
Yes, God rest his
You
soul.
know, there is some controversy surrounding that, but it's not worth going into all of
Oh,
that.
sure.
But I can tell you that, you know, do you think his mission has been realized?
You know, I definitely think so. I know that there were a lot of hard feelings when the Phoenix and Brian parted ways, and it was very hard on all of us. But I think that, you know, his mission to create good theater and give opportunities for local actors to make a living is still being accomplished.
Well, it does my heart warm to go there and see Latino black and brown faces
Yes.
on the stage,
Yes.
and off the stage,
Yes.
and designers. And
Well, and I think
that was his vision.
It's important to know that the Phoenix is a collective. There are multiple arts organizations that run their performances out of the Phoenix. You know, the Phoenix produces their shows, but there's also a lot of other shows and events that go on there. And
you know, that was Brian. He was always showing up at other arts organizations events,
Yes.
not just theater either.
Yes.
He was always there to support.
well, collaboration within arts organizations is essential. You know, because the way to look at it is the Hoosier Salon has a list of supporters, okay, and the Phoenix Theater has a list of supporters. So what's going to happen with us getting together by sharing this gallery space is we're going to bring those lists together.
Yeah.
We're going to share our mission with those people on their list and vice versa.
Are you bringing more minorities into the picture? Minorities?
Oh yes.
Black and brown people?
Oh yes, yes, and there are several shows that are scheduled throughout the year that focus on the African American culture and the Latino culture,
that.
and our goal is to bring in artists that fit that motif.
So what lies ahead for you in terms of long-term goals?
Well, building the endowment and continuing to increase
How
programming.
about a permanent home?
Well, we have offices at the Stutz.
Okay.
We've had that for quite some time, and we're going to be utilizing that a lot more here in the next 6 to 12 months. We're going to start doing artist workshops again,
Okay.
bringing in artists and conducting. And I'm hopeful that we'll be able to conduct some workshops at the Phoenix as well. I'm talking with the Indiana Plein Air Painters Association about potentially holding one of their events there this year. So there will be a lot of cross-pollination.
For those who haven't experienced your programs or exhibits,
Yeah.
pitch why they should come and get involved. To
Well,
the average person.
yeah. Well, what's exciting with art is that you never know what you're going to see. Artists create such a vast array of styles and mediums, and you never know when you're going to find that one style or that one artist that just gets you. And I think that's what's exciting about going to an art opening is you don't know what you're going to see. Mm-hmm. It's exciting. You know, it's like going to a movie. You heard the basic, plot line, but to go and see it, it opens up a whole new world, and art can do the same thing for you.
Mm-hmm. And what do you say to young people out there who are considering a life as a working artist?
Oh, I think that they need to pursue their passion, and they need to reach out to resources in the community, mm-hmm. and I can be one of those resources.
Sure.
If artists want to reach out to me, they can, and I can connect them with workshops. I can connect them with resources. They can become members of the
mm-hmm.
salon, which makes them eligible to be in our Clues Collaborative event, eligible to enter the annual exhibition, mm-hmm. eligible to put art on our website, to attend our workshops. A lot of benefits, but making a connection.
How can they find you on the website? Is your email address? Is
Yeah.
there an email address?
Well, the
that
Hoosier
you can
Salon
give out?
website is HoosierArtSalon.org.
Mhm.
My email is mquinn@HoosierArtSalon.org.
Mhm.
Reach out to me. I'd be glad to talk to any young artist that's looking to break into the business, so to speak. I can connect you with galleries. I can connect you with folks in the community who can support your plan.
Well, you've been a major contributor and community leader as far as I'm concerned, Michael, and
Thank you.
I'm thrilled that you are in the visual arts business. As your experience as a board member, as a community leader, that's what's really sorely needed to advance the arts in this community, people who have your kind of passion. So,
Well, I never thought I'd be here.
why is that?
Well, sitting, in a bank or something like it for 35 years, I never thought that I would be doing what I'm doing today. And I guess that's what I find so exciting about life is you just never know what's around the next corner.
You know what's something I want to share with you? I think we had to have had this conversation because I get a
Probably.
big kick out of the fact that I started out in college. I worked my way through college by being a bank teller.
Okay.
I started as a messenger, and then I was a bank teller. I worked in a drive-up window, Indiana Bank in Fort Wayne.
Oh, gosh.
And then I worked the drive-in, I worked the walk-up, and then I moved to Washington, and it was easy to get a teller job because, the turnaround is like,
it
it's
is.
still the same
It
pay
is.
grade. And then I became a head teller, notes and loan teller, and then one day I got abused by a customer, and then I realized this isn't for me. My skin is too thin.
Yeah.
And anyway, I had theater training, but the point is that the transferable skills I got from working in bank have I have my own company. I do lots of stuff, and
Sure.
business skills that I got.
Yeah.
I've been on a lot of boards, and
Yeah.
all the stuff that I learned in the banking, and I'm sure you've been able to utilize all those
Oh,
skills
yeah.
too.
Well, you learn a lot of fine-tuned customer service skills. When you're dealing with someone's money,
Sure.
it's very personal.
It's
Very personal.
That's what I was taught.
Yes,
Their
and
food and their money.
That's right. Yeah. So you had to be very, very sensitive with that.
And you've got a personality. You got to have a great personality too, right?
Well, I think the way I used to look at it back when I was in that business is that, they all pretty much offer the same thing.
Sure.
Whether you go to Star or Huntington or whatever they are, it's got to be the personalities of the people
Sure.
that bring you back.
And you know why I'm sure you're going to be successful in this current job that you're doing? It's because you know how to build relationships.
Well, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to know about you.
Mm-hmm.
I know all about me already. I don't need, I want to hear about you.
No.
And I think that's what's important when you meet new
You've
people.
learned, haven't
Listen.
you, that everyone has a story. If you just
Everybody has a
ask.
story.
And they love telling you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, we could go on and on.
We
on
could.
all kinds of stuff.
But I got to mention one more thing,
Sure.
because if I don't,
Go ahead.
Katie at the Idle-Jorg will kill me. I'm also on the board of the Idle-Jorg Museum.
Oh, I
and
didn't know that.
I would encourage everyone to, if you've not been to the Idle-Jorg, go to the Idle-Jorg. There's an amazing art collection there, and you get people that say, well, I'm not into cowboys and Indians. It's so much more than that.
Well,
it really is amazing. And Jingle Rails is coming up in December, so you got to go see the trains.
I love the fact that people who come here to visit can't believe it's mind-boggling that we would have the art collection in Flatland, Indiana, in the middle of the country.
Yeah. Beautiful building, beautiful collection. And Katie's doing a great job at the Idle George. She's just amazing.
I just got an update from Ancestry.com, and I already knew that, I'm Mexican-American, but I'm mestizo. I am more Indian than I am Spanish, is like 3%.
Oh,
but
wow.
I'm 67%. My people were here long ago.
Sure.
Maybe not in Indiana. My family's from Texas, but it was Mexico. In any case, I have a deep appreciation for the art that's there, and a lot of spirits in that place. Yeah. So, how long have you been on that board?
3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Maybe 5. I don't know. I can't keep track.
Okay. Well, you've got plenty going on.
Yeah.
So are you still doing the general contracting?
Well, that's kind of on hold.
Okay.
I mean, a little, but this role with the salon really needed 100% of my attention to get the groundwork laid for a lot of this new programming.
Yeah.
And we're hopeful that we'll get a lot of new partners that want to come and join our mission financially.
Yeah.
I won't sit down with someone and tell them to bring their checkbook. What I'll do is sit down with them and share the passion for the organization.
Yeah.
Share the passion of our artists, and hopefully they'll want to partner with us in the future.
I have to thank you. I need to give you a shout out because Dustin Klein, my business partner, and I, we have a company called Magic the Cabaret, and you and Tony, your partner, did a fundraiser for us once, and we'll always be grateful to you for your.
It was a fun night.
And you've done that for others in this town, so
I have.
You definitely show your support in so many ways. So.
Well, it's important that you do it, and everybody does it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody can do what we did, but even small gifts. Even small, volunteer, reach out to the Phoenix Theater and see about volunteering in some capacity. If you can't write a big check, that's okay. You don't have to. You can still be involved in an arts organization and not be a big name donor. It's okay.
Yep.
It's okay.
Many ways to serve. Well,
There
thank
is.
you, my friend.
Well, thank you for having me.
I very deeply appreciate your friendship over these many years,
Yes.
and I wish you well.
Thank you, Tom.
Our thanks go out to our media sponsor, Urban Times. Urban Times is a monthly news magazine which serves as the official newsletter for 15 Indianapolis neighborhoods, offering news about development, arts and entertainment, and from the business community. Thank you for joining me on the aisle. Please subscribe to my podcast, and if you want to hear previous episodes, find them on the All Indiana Podcast Network, or listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. This is Tom Alvarez.
Who will take center stage on the podcast next? Your seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez awaits. Follow Tom on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and make sure to visit tomalvarez.studio. Watch Tom every other Thursday on Lifestyle Live on Wish TV, and make sure to listen every week here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.